Hello, bean fiends. Welcome to another Morgan Monday Friday. I mean, I'm eating a small dinner right now, so hang out and talk amongst yourselves for a bit while I chow down. You know, I'm just now realizing I could theoretically lower my gate because we're not using the air conditioner right now because it is winter. Because I know my mic sounds a little worse while I have my noise gate up. At least as far as I can tell. I might just open that up a little bit. See. I have it closing at -32. Let's have it close like -45. And then open like around -30 instead of -26. We'll see how that goes. I'm not transmitting me chewing away from the mic, so that's working well enough at least. Okay. I should really do some significant adjustments of like my audio setup and things like that. But frankly, I don't have a ton of bandwidth. Like in general in my brain. Not a lot of bandwidth. Alright, dinner defeated. Oh, can you guys hear the ice in my drink? Just a little bit. And that's probably just because it's near the mic. Anyway. Morgan Monday, Friday, etc. It's time to get our ass whipped in the courtroom again. You know how it is. For an unlicensed law practitioner. So, Aurea Holdings is not part of House Icaria? No, it is. House Icaria is comprised of literal Icaria family, the Icaria Financial Group, and Aurea Holdings. But each of those parts is a separate identity from the others. That is very confusing. No, it's Well, yes, it can be confusing, but it protects us. Protects the IFG? No, protects the house from itself. Yeah, you don't want to get, you know, your illegal activities mixed with your corporate activities, mixed with your elite socialization activities. If everyone in the Icaria family was a member of the IFG, and the IFG was called the Icaria family, that would be much simpler. I know it would be simpler, but that's... Who the hell is this guy to keep Rockford waiting? God damn. She is down so fucking bad. I was not gonna, like, I was like, oh yeah, she's down pretty... a save? Okay, I can save. Let me just fucking hit it real quick. There we go. Quick saving is currently unavailable. I did my best. Salutes. But yeah, Morgan's down bad as hell. Like, immediately. Like, the first thing she says when I start playing today is like, who the hell is this guy to keep Rockford waiting? I'm the only one who keeps Rockford waiting. I'm the only one who gets to antagonize her. That is the rules. Are you addressing your question to me? I've never met the man. Well, he's met you. Smacked you upside the head and cuffed you. If you say so. I told you I don't remember anything after I walked out of that holding room. Chime in at any time. Apologies, Adonai. I was just trying to answer your question. Who the hell is Officer Rogers? You find his socials or something? I found a news story attached to a live feed. Oh, he's dead. Filed my state taxes today. Can't wait to get $29 whole in like 3 months. Yeah, that's what state taxes are like. Federal taxes are like, oh, here's a bunch of money because your employer overpaid you. But state taxes are just like, we decided you should have $30. It's like, why? It's like, because. He's shaking hands with some men at the top of some stairs. Right now, what's the headline? City council members thank heroic officer for his service. Oh, well, that makes sense. How can it? Emma's outranked. If the politicians decided now was the time to do photo ops, she doesn't have the pull to go against them. Are Officer Chopin's parents there? Yes, both of his fathers were present. Adoptive fathers. Morgan, not a relevant thing to bring up. Are you trying to make me feel better? Adoptive or not, they're his parents and their pain is real. Of course. But that pain would be equally real if they weren't expressing it in front of those cameras, don't you think? If you're feeling guilty, Sosuke, please get it out of your system before the trial resumes. I don't feel guilty. Even if I did kill that officer, I wouldn't lose sleep over it. But that doesn't make it right. Taking a life? Parents having to outlive their children. And here I thought you'd be all about filial piety. You telling me you wouldn't take a bullet for your patriarch, Daisuke? Of course I would. And force him to outlive his son? How could you? Adopted son. From a branch family. Yeah, you just said that it didn't matter if they were adopted or not. Do I need to point out how badly you're contradicting yourself? Daisuke Ikaria could have let me waste away when the rest of Hayakawa branch, when the rest of the Hayakawa branch was killed. Instead, he placed me at the right hand of power, a seat of honor, a subservient seat. All seats are subservient, not the one at the top. I didn't know the rest of your birth family died, Sosuke. Retaliation for the fall of the leaves. Quite the dignified way to refer to the Ikaria killing all those blue bloods 30 years ago. Wait, so Sosuke's family was part of the Blue Bloods. I was wondering about that. I mean, what if they were literally after Sosuke, but they didn't know? No? I'm just saying, it's like, if Sosuke has blue blood and he survived the massacre, that means he could be the head that the Youngbloods want to replace the old ones. Because he would have access to the vaults. The Blue Bloods are not part of the Ikaria clan at all. I mean, yeah, I know. But he was adopted into the Ikaria clan. Anyway, it was my understanding that that was a complete and total victory. The kind that left the Blue Bloods incapable of counterattacking. Very nearly so. Do you disapprove of what happened 30 years ago, Sosuke? From a branch family, yes. I guess that's fair. I'm just saying his hair is a shade of blue. It has blue in it. Think about it. He's got blue happening. Of course not. The barbarity of the house's enemies left it with no other choice but to act. No way out, huh? He's also got pronouns. That is true! By the way, I was asked to pass along a message to you. If you're given a way out, take it. Who told you that? It wasn't Makoto. It was Mireille, right? I should probably just tell him, right? Like, theoretically, I could spin this in a way that benefits me. Like, theoretically. But I don't think that he'll buy it. He's certain, like, first of all, if I pin it on Makoto, then that's just straight up evil. Like, yeah, Makoto told you that you should do this. And it's like, if this results in him sacrificing himself, Makoto would never forgive himself, and I would have fucked up bad. Not saying is pointless, because he's gonna ask, so I'm just gonna tell him Mireille. Mireille? She said her name was Mireille. I got 3 chips for that, for some reason. Oh, was it just to see if I would remember who it was? Who is she? A powerful member of the house, on the side of Aurea. Slow down, loose lips. I didn't ask for a whole life story. What? Oh, sarcasm. Sorry, I'm just surprised. Surprised that she would take a personal interest in the outcome of this affair. So, did that message mean anything to you? I'm not sure. You're a terrifically helpful client. You know that? There's something you should know about me, Morgan. About the Hound of Ikaria. I didn't earn that title as a bodyguard or head of security. I didn't learn how to kill in the military. The Hound of Ikaria is the house's personal assassin. Interesting. So it's not a title, it's not a personal title. It is a literal title of rank and position. What happened to the House of Ikaria being refined? I don't know. Assassins are, like, if you're gonna talk about, like, just straight up murdering people, I feel like assassin is the most refined you can be about it. Morgan, whenever she learns new info, opens her eyes just a little bit wider. It's like, yeah, me too, to be honest. Elevated above the criminal past. The house is elevated. That status has granted it more enemies than ever. Enemies that need to be taken out silently, but undeniably. Undeniably? What I do is send messages. They need to be received by the right people, and they need to know who it's from. You kill so that the other houses in the nobility know it was the Hound, but can't prove that House Ikaria was responsible. Her eyes dilate until no other color is seen. It's all pupil. She goes full kitty, like, silly mode. She's like, oh my god. Something to sink my teeth into. Some information. Their own pride over being able to handle things internally. Necomorph. Yeah. And their humiliation at being outplayed ensures the deaths stay out of the papers. So the entire police force can descend on a jaywalker caught by a reflection off of a dash cam. But the Neo-ability gets to wave off the surveillance state with a perfumed handkerchief, flaunting how the rules don't apply to them. Like I thought. A very pure expression of power. So all that talk of you being Makoto's head of security, that was all true. I am, and I have been, Makoto's head of security for the past year. Did your courier business dry up? Circumstances around Makoto had changed. I was asked to step in and fill a role. And what you said about guarding the previous heir, waving your katana around as soon as you could walk, the circumstances were different then, too. Why tell me now? Because now that I've seen her, I don't think Rockford will have missed it. No, why didn't you tell me yesterday, the first time we met, when I could have actually prepared for this? Clearly you've got some deeply held desire to rot in prison, since you won't help me with this case. But what happened in the last 5 minutes that you've suddenly got cold feet? Adonai. Yesterday, I thought you were just some outsider in over their head who would surely drown if they knew who they were defending. Happy Morgan Friday Monday. It's Morgan Monday Friday. What didn't he tell you? Oh, that the Hound of Icaria is not his personal title. It is the title of House Icaria's assassin. I love prison. Sosuke. He did say this. He said this out loud and to the prosecuting attorney. Today, I think you're an outsider. Is that useful? It might be. More importantly, it gives us knowledge that we should have had before now. Like, we should have known what his actual role was before now. Just because he is the person we're defending. So if we said, oh, well, he's not some kind of assassin, we wouldn't just get it, like, you know, thrown right back in our face. I mean, it will be because they made a point of it, yeah. Really, it's just like, if you are a defense attorney, and your client is a professional assassin, and this is not a new thing, and should be known by anyone who knows about this clan, it's something we should also know, because we're the ones defending him. Today, I think you're an outsider in over their head who could stay afloat with a lifeline. Thanks for the heads up. 5 minutes notice really comes in handy when your client asks you to catch a bullet. Excuse me. Bought new boots? Let's go! I've started putting some of the models that I 3D printed on bases, and they look really nice, and I'm happy with them. I'm sorry to disappoint you too, Sarah. Oh yeah, I guess true, if he is the house's personal assassin and he killed a cop, then it doesn't just fall on him, it falls on the entire house. Because it could be made to seem like he killed the cop on behalf of House Icaria. That is also an angle that might be important. You know, he says, I can't imagine you're pleased to be defending a self-confessed killer. You already told us you were in the military, man. That is something we knew. Just because you kill for the government does not make it killing. Does not make it not killing. I can't imagine you're pleased to be defending a self-confessed killer. I don't know when you went through when you were a soldier. And I have no idea what you've gone through as an assassin. Yesterday, Adonai suggested I shouldn't speak about these kinds of things, since I have no experience with them. I don't know if she's right about that. But soldiers and assassins do exist in this world. And they are still people. And I think I would be sad if I couldn't talk to any of them. On a related note, could you catch a bullet, Sosuke Ikaria? Sarah thinks it's sick, actually. Well, clearly that is true, because she's just like, hey, since you're an assassin, like a ninja, are you like a movie ninja where you could, like, catch a bullet or a sword or, like fucking parry a weapon with your hands? No, Sarah. But you're a cybernetically enhanced martial artist! Bullets are very fast. That is true. I could probably catch an arrow if I knew it was coming. People without cybernetic enhancements can catch arrows, which is kind of sick. It is not easy. Especially because, she literally thinks movies are real. I don't think that's true. But you're a cyborg ninja. You're basically Gray Fox. Why don't you just go into that courtroom, have, like, a panic attack and murder everyone there with a sword? It would solve every problem we have. If you kill Rockford, then Morgan will kill you, but, like, you know, you won't be in prison. Tell me more. I don't think she thinks movies are real. I think she is learning the best she can with what she has provided, which is movies. I think she knows that the events of movies are not real, but I think she does believe that that things that happen in movies could theoretically be possible. Courtroom 48D. So you and your partner were the second officers to arrive on the scene. That's correct, ma'am. When the 10999 went out, my partner and I were relatively center city. More like Gay Fox, LOL. Sarah could probably catch a bullet. I don't think she could catch a bullet, but I think if she got shot, she would not have that many problems. I think she would just be kind of fine. Like, I don't think she's fast enough to catch a bullet, but I do think she's durable enough to ignore one. We were within jogging distance at this site, after an elevator ride, so we proceeded on foot. It being embedded in her is catching. Fuck, you're so right. Roger still hasn't shown. Emma must have rushed London to adjust to the reshuffled docket. I assume he was rushed. He does seem somewhat distracted. We arrived on the premises at 10:21 p.m. I got this bullet with my face. Ah, my face to your fist style. How do you like it? I'm bleeding, making me the victor. At 10:27 p.m., we assisted Officer Rogers in completing his arrest of the suspect. What did that involve? I thought trial day 1 was over. No, we just took a recess. Reading rights to an unconscious man? That's a good bit! We helped Rogers finish cuffing the suspect, is what I meant. We taught him how to fight wrong as a joke. Fucking, I can't get over that movie. Every time that character walks, it makes like a little squeak noise, and one of the characters is like, oh, again with the squeaky shoes. His hands were shaking. Your witness, counselor? I'd like to ask London why he wasn't explicit about all this yesterday, but complaining about a detective not being forthcoming with the defense isn't exactly a winning strategy. He didn't hesitate to show me his involvement with the mafias yesterday. You shall call me Betty. Me about Kate in shooters. Just because I care about style over substance doesn't mean I can't shoot. I can shoot fine. That's why I can care about style over substance. What's he got left to hide? Rear body cams on. It's a good question. Why were you nearby? It doesn't seem super relevant, but I am curious. Dumb question, detective, but did you have your body camera on? Officers aren't required to turn on body cameras when responding to an emergency, counselor. And detectives aren't required to wear body cameras at all. Like I said, dumb question. What about your partner? No, we're gonna stay. How'd you clear the building? Why were you nearby? Well, yeah, I mean, if you're not required to wear a uniform, the uniform is what has the slot for the body cam, so it wouldn't be required to wear a body cam. How'd you clear the building? Why were you nearby? I don't know if I could press on either of these though. Let's see about being nearby. How about that? Why were you and your partner in Center City that night, detective? Well, to be honest, I hadn't eaten dinner yet, and I was really in the mood for some kind of hot soup, you know? My partner was kind enough to indulge me in taking a drive. That's all he's gonna say? It's not like I can call him a compromised witness just because he was in the area, but what the hell is there even to press when his answer is that simple? I'm almost tempted to... Was the soup good? Oh my god, I really feel like I should press on this. It's just too funny. Fuck. I have to press it. I'll take the 11. I'll take the 11 blind hit. Was the soup any good, detective? I never got any in the end. Had this hole-in-the-wall place in mind, but when we got there, turned out they'd gone out of business last month. It'd been a while since I'd last stopped by. I guess I always knew they weren't that successful, but I thought, honestly, I thought it'd lose some of its charm if it got popular. Maybe if I hadn't been so selfish, they'd still be there. You never know how much you'll miss that 7 out of 10 restaurant till it's gone, you know? Yeah. Your Honor, relevance. It's not relevant, but it is poignant and deeply human. I'll allow it. Or I won't punish it at least. Let's go! No punishment! Now ask a real question! Right away, Your Honor. Fuck yes! Soup question, unpunished. I'm gonna ask about how you clear the building, but I think we're gonna end up pushing on where your body cam's on. Because I feel like he doesn't care about wearing a body cam, but Reyes is very, very rules-oriented. I think she probably prides herself on having her body cam on, if I had to guess. And how did you and your partner go about clearing the building? I love you, giant robot judge woman. The most important bimbo in the world. I took point and my partner covered me, checking the rooms behind us as we went. It was tense, searching the rooms with that racket blaring from upstairs. You were still searching for suspects even though there was a 10999 on the 3rd floor. Rogers had already reported the manner of his partner's death, counselor. We weren't gonna run upstairs to try and defibrillate. I'm right here. That's true. That is true. But I think that you would prefer to be a giant robot judge. How is that report made? Over comms at 10:17 p.m. That's information! Is it common practice to separate from one another when responding to a 10999? It's one of several valid approaches the department advises in critical scenarios. I'm gonna press on this. I got information, I'm gonna keep pressing. Did you ever lose sight of your partner? The most important of the devil details is judges are like 9 feet tall canonically. Oh yeah, no, she's enormous. I might have. So she might have lost sight of you. Speculation, Your Honor. If I can't see you, you can't see me. That's not speculation, Your Honor, just grade school logic. Overruled. Spill the deets, witness! Yes, me and my partner were separated as we cleared the building. For more than a minute, I'd say. Information! Interesting. I'm gonna have to press on where your body cam's on. I wish I was a 9-foot tall blonde robot bimbo. I mean, that'd be sick as fuck. Me becoming a lawyer so I can approach and hold my arms up. Teeps wants uppies from big robot judge. I guess she's an adjudicator, not like a judge technically, but you know. Alright, body cams. I have to press on this. It's my only option. But by any chance, did your partner have a body camera going? Perhaps out of a characteristic abundance of respect for the rules. Exactly, there we go. Matter of fact, I believe she did. So of the first 4 of your city's brave policemen to arrive at the scene of a crime, only one of them thought to turn their body cam on? It's my understanding that Rogers couldn't turn his on as it had broken earlier in the week. And Tariq Chopin? I don't know why he didn't have his on. There it is. Does Emma know? Does Officer Rogers? Thank you for giving us all that to chew on, Detective London. Come on, give me a break. I was trying to be helpful. No, I mean it. Imagine she says blackjack out loud. I'm especially interested to hear how you describe how my client was unconscious and helpless by the time he first appeared on any body cam. Shall we review that footage together? I wonder if we can pinpoint exactly how many wounds he'd received in between his arrest and when his mugshot was taken. Redirect, Your Honor. Really? What is she doing now? The prosecution called Detective London as their witness and asked their questions. Ad and I just had a chance to ask her own questions during the cross-examination. After the cross-examination, the people can redirect if they have additional questions for the witness. Takaya Kuroda, Blackjack, soundbite. I don't know who that is. That doesn't sound familiar to me. Takaya Kuroda. The last name sounds familiar, but I don't know Takaya Kuroda off the top of my head. So it isn't just one for them and one for us? Hear you? Oh. More like an eye for an eye for an eye until justice is blind and bloody. She wants another round. Why? Just stalling? Detective London, are you aware of an ongoing police investigation for a figure known as the Hound of Icaria? See, there it is. Not stalling. Approach, Your Honor. Wait, do I finally get to say the line? Hold on, this is happening too fast. Okay. Oh, so you're a pro, and they're already here. She just wanted to reference JoJo, but they walked up too quickly. Oh, are we gonna go head-to-head directly in front of the judge? I've actually never done this in any lawyer game, but it is customary for when there is a disagreement between the defenses and the judge to approach the judge and have a private conversation, basically, to determine what the outcome is going to be of the current line of questioning and who will be allowed to proceed. So it's interesting that we actually finally get to, we didn't do this in any of the Phoenix Wright games I played. And we didn't do this in episode 1, so it's kind of sick that we're actually approaching the judge together. I appreciate that you guys both independently said breast to breast and tit to tit. I'm glad the Bean Fiends have one brain cell. This Hound of Icaria is obviously some kind of case file the Organized Crimes Department is working on. Detective London isn't qualified to speak on it. Homicide, organized crimes. Is there that big a difference? Depends on the career of the witness in question. Detective London, for example, spent 6 years in the organized crime unit. You what? You didn't know that? Where are you taking this, Emma? Ugh, I hate to admit it, but I think I need spoilers as well. I can't believe I have an emote for this. If you ask him about this, what's he gonna say? That the Hound of Icaria is an assassin who leaves the calling cards at each of his kills, terrorizing the house's perceived enemies without shame. And the lead suspect in those cases is a man around Sosuke's age and height, with gray-blue hair, a modded spine, and a large tattoo of a dog across his back. Fuck! Shit! That's literally a perfect description! We're fucked! We're fucked beyond all belief! Shit! Sosuke, you vain son of a bitch, you got made with your shirt off! He sneezes. Bless you. You're so dead. We're fucked beyond belief. It's like we could theoretically argue that the tattoo on his back is not a dog. But like that's just splitting hairs. That doesn't mean shit. Anybody who doesn't know what he has tattooed would immediately say it was a dog. Force fem him immediately. Quick! Sosuke, activate your modded spine that you might have, you allegedly might have, and then make yourself a little shorter. You cannot let the jury hear that, Your Honor. But I really want to! If organized crime wanted to arrest Sosuke, they should have done so already. It is a dog? I thought it was like what is it? Like the guardian dog things that like aren't actually dogs, but they look like dogs. It's the guardian dog lion things. Yeah, that's not technically a dog. But like once again, that's splitting hairs. He's on trial here today for these 5 counts and nothing else. The defense has once again claimed that their client is merely some veteran who's been victimized by greater forces, since it has Inu in the name, which is a dog. Yeah, but, fucking, what is it? What are they called? Like the raccoon dog things? What are they called? With the huge mythical magic ball sacks. Those also technically have dog in the name. Like, they're called raccoon dogs. Tanuki. But it's like... It's translated as raccoon dogs, which is like not... They're still not a dog. Or a raccoon, for that matter. Rocky? Anyway, back to the matter at hand. But the police believe that he's in fact the deadliest soldier the Ikaria have at their disposal. That's not irrelevant. No, it's just prejudicial as hell. Girls fighting. But obeying the legal precedent. But the tension, the human drama. He'll just be giving a summary. The case file won't enter the record. So you won't even give me the chance to object to the evidence? Your Honor, if you do this, the jury will be spoiled within seconds, and I'll have my client served up a mistrial before the day is through. And some other lucky adjutant will get to have all the rest of the fun. I've severed the jury's feed for the time being. I'd like to hear exactly what the witness has to say before ruling on this testimony's inclusion. But, Your Honor, the gallery is not your concern, nor a concern of justice. This trial will remain open to the public until such a time as I, or the state, feel it shouldn't be. Decision made! Thank you, Your Honor. Okay, so, depending on what he testifies, we could theoretically have this case thrown out. Victory for us. Or it might be given to the jury, in which case we are fucked beyond all belief. There is no way that any jury, upon finding this, unless we can provide conclusive evidence that he did not do this, is going to find him guilty. Literally no question. I want a motorboater so bad. I can guarantee you she would enjoy that. But you would probably be arrested. What just happened? Pushes Sosuke up against the wall. Sosuke, we are so fucked. Why did you take your shirt off when you killed those guys? What's your fucking problem? The jury's gonna take a bathroom break. Emma will get to ask her questions, but in all likelihood, the adjutant will make sure they never hear the answers. He played Yakuza one time. Yeah, somebody squared up and he just took his shirt off, no prompting. Kiwami means extreme. You know what? If I get my shit set up, I definitely should do, like, a Yakuza... a month-long, like, Yakuza, like, binge. Like I do on January, usually. I think that'd be fucking sick. Usually I just do that with games I've played already. But, like, month... Girl, look, I'm not saying I would play every Yakuza game in a month. I'm saying I would binge Yakuza as much as I could within that month. And then, you know, we would take it to a normal schedule. Or, like, until I got bored. You literally said you would do it for my birthday. Yeah, it was like a year ago. You wouldn't even beat a Yakuza game in a month. Wait, like, seriously? How long are these? I'm not talking about, like, Infinite Wealth where it's, like, an RPG. There are hundreds of hours long. Like, main story and, like, side missions, hundreds of hours long. I'm not doing, like, mahjong or, like, karaoke or whatever. I'm not, like, maxing out all that shit. But, like, yes? Like, ideally, I would do all the side missions that don't require, like, being the best mahjong player in the world. 0 and 5 are pretty long. I would definitely start with 0. I assume is where I should start in terms of story, unless it's like a prequel or something. Really, whichever one you guys think I should start with, I would probably start with. It wouldn't be 5, because that would be ridiculous. Why would I start there? But, like, you know, Yakuza 1 or 0, probably. Or Kiwami? Platinum save file was like 150 hours. Yeah, so it's like, you know, cut that in half, because I don't have to play mahjong. 0 is a prequel. I mean, prequels are... Theoretical, some prequels can be played before the main game. It's a prequel that has the Kiwami-style combat. That doesn't mean anything to me. Kiwami was made with 0 in mind, so it builds a line. Really, if it comes to it, once I get there, I will ask you guys which one I should play first. Like, should I play original 1? Should I play Kiwami instead of 1? Should I play 0 before Kiwami? You can play as Majima in 0. I did know that. Who cares? Majima is funny. And that's why it's important. Original 1 is kind of rough. Yeah, I figured I would play Kiwami instead of original 1. So we aren't any worse off? Sosuke might be. What do you mean? This gallery's filled to the brim with cops. They all think he killed Chopin. If London regales us all with those tales of the Hound's exploits on top of that... Play the original Yakuza 1 because Mark Hamill is Majima. Of course Mark Hamill is Majima. He's like the Joker. K1 you could easily do in a month. What, like Kiwami? I could easily do in a month. I mean, I could just do like a month of just Kiwami, and then like we could do other ones normally. Yeah. I'm the Jonklet, baby. Like, this isn't like a I'm gonna play Persona 5 all the way through 3 times in a row like I did for like multiple months that one time. Ellie here? Good. She should see how this trial progresses. 0's longer and has more side stuff, and the side stuff is better. Okay. We'll see. Like, we'll see. We'll discuss it later once I, you know, have all my shit set up and it's feasible. Also, once I have all my shit set up, I should be able to finally play Armored Core 6. So that'll be fun. She hates cops and thinks Sosuke should allegedly kill 47 of them. Yeah, that's the correct response. Fuck cops, etc. They all think he killed Chopin. If London regales us all with the tales of the Hound's exploits on top of that... Don't worry, Sosuke. They can't do anything to you here. Yeah, not here. Because we're in a courtroom. I won't spend the rest of my life in this room, Sarah. And even if I could, I wouldn't. Detective London, if you would, please testify as to the... Oh, for real? Your Honor? What now? Hey, Rockford, that witness guy who flicked on you, made you look dumb. Yes? He's finally here. That's actually super great. Get London the fuck out of here. Thank you, Your Honor. I have no more questions for the witnesses this time. Let's go! Yes! There it is! That also means that Emma thinks this is a more important witness than making every cop in this room want to kill my client even more, which is really bad for us. Really? But the redirect fizzles out. Counsel, you want to snap it up? No, Your Honor. Dang, Detective London! Nobody wants to talk to your ass! Anyway, wow, she was literally gonna get him lynched to keep him from getting away. Yeah, it's a shitty move, but I think it was her best move. Especially since her key witness, just kind of fucked off. Miss Rockford let it go. She doesn't hold anything back in the courtroom, but only because that's what gives her the greatest chance of victory. The jury wouldn't hear it either way, and she has no need to stall for time. Emma has said she also hates losing. Oh, no. In the courtroom, she is just as brutal as Morgan is. Like, unquestionably. And anyway, she was just gonna get him lynched to stall for time so she could get him actually prosecuted. She wasn't doing it just to get him lynched. She was probably just gonna send him to prison where he was gonna get murdered legally. She won't stoke the coals for the fun of it. So, if you hadn't fought against that redirect up to the very last moment... Bullet caught, huh? Yeah, nothing impressive about putting my arm between the gun and my... heart? I was gonna say stomach. The analogy seems weaker somehow. Yeah, well, she doesn't get paid if he dies, so... That means no bread on the table. There he is. The man of the hour. The hero put a stop to the Hound of Ikaria and brought justice to the city over the loss of its favored son, Tariq Chopin. Patrol Officer Rogers reporting for duty. You don't have to say that. Sorry. Then just, reporting for duty. I gotta work overtime tomorrow. Would they just tell you have to work overtime beforehand? Goddamn. Name and occupation. Patrol Officer Huey Rogers. Occupation, Patrol Officer. This guy's got crazy sideburns. June 16th, 184 centimeters. He's pretty tall. Tomorrow's Saturday, so all time is overtime. Oh, I thought you meant they told you they had to work, that you had to work, like, past 8 hours or whatever. That's nice, though. You at least get, like, time and a half or whatever. I like your on guard emote. On guard emote. Do I have one of those? Let's see, please. I would say police officer, Lower Wards Patrol, like saltwater rosemary graffiti art. I do love Joeler. There is also Joel, which is just Joel spinning at a normal speed. Like saltwater rosemary graffiti art. All good stuff. Dislike sand, marshmallows, and the lottery. Terrible choices. The lottery, whatever. Marshmallows? Sand? Piss off, Anakin. Wakes up at 5:30 a.m. Can't stand mice. Pussy. Balance easily upset. This guy cannot balance very well? Former partner of Tariq Chopin. I wake up earlier than him, lol. Yeah, because you're, like, working a real job. Apologies for earlier. It's fine. The court understands that the city council has had need of you. When I said my name wrong. Won't happen again. And your tardiness? I've told the managers more than once I'm not doing that. Fuck yeah, fuck them. What's that? Being hours late to this trial? Did I not send a reminder? Does seeing here in the flesh jog your memory at all? No, not at all. I think this guy would be pretty hard to forget. You must have sustained quite a concussion then. As an appetizer. From what I saw, he's lucky nothing important leaked out of his ears. Shall we begin, Officer Rogers? Right, from where? Shows up late to my partner's murder. Shows up late to the trial over my partner's murder. Shows up late to my death. The start. Oh. Well, it was a pretty boring, normal night. Me and Chopin were just driving our route, windows down. He was always getting car sick if the windows weren't down. Then around 9:45 or so, my partner heard shots fired. So off we went. What does that mean? Well, I mean, shots echoed down to the lower ward, so wasn't too sure about the direction. But my partner was confident it had something to do with the Blue Bloods. They're cutting our hours all the way through March, so I've just fully said don't cut my hours and expect me to bust ass in here. Yeah, if they fucking want you to keep working, then fucking schedule you for that long, shitheads. That area is a known hotspot. As we neared the street, we saw people slinking away from it. We got the message. People can sense that kind of trouble even when they don't know it. Something bad had gone down, and no one wanted anything to do with it. Front door wouldn't budge. I peeked around in the alley, but the fire escape was out of commission. Then my partner, shot clean through the door handle. Chopin was that determined to get inside based on some echoed gunshots and a few context clues? Those context clues are most of what I used to find the place too, but... So when you arrived, the only way into the building was locked? Yeah, and so we had, strong reason to believe the shooter was still in the vicinity. I was in favor of waiting for backup at this point, but my partner, he was convinced the place was dead empty already. So he was moving a good bit faster than me, right up until we got to the second floor, and we heard a loud slam. A slam? Next week is inventory, and after that request life... Wait, is Code Vein 2 coming out? Shit. Honestly, Code Vein 1 is like one of the shittiest games that I love. I love Code Vein. I hate the gameplay. It's not good. But I really, really like how ambitious it is, and like how insane the story was. And also that I can make like a little be-glasses catgirl vampire. If you like it, can you help me finish it? Yeah, I mean, once I get my shit set up. like always. I just need to get my fucking PS4 and shit set up. But it's like, you know, I don't have the bandwidth to do shit. The 23rd if you pre-order Deluxe Edition. Yeah, I'm not doing that. I'll buy it for like $5 used, like I did with the other game. Code Vein 2 doesn't have co-op, though. Interesting. What kind of a slam? Like slam? Or like salam? Or like slam? I don't know. It was loud, though. And Chopin gets all deadly serious and insists I stay, and he goes ahead. Up to the third floor. After a bit, he yelled down to me saying everyone was dead, and I should come join him. That's when I heard another heavy thud. I didn't notice the sound of my partner's body hitting the floor. But I put two and two together when I saw that man there, standing over him. Let the record show the witness has finally identified the defendant. If you heard a noise at the crime scene, the natural conclusion would be that you were not alone. But if Chopin thought they weren't alone, why would he insist on splitting up? Avoiding crossfire is a decent idea, but then it wouldn't matter if they were on separate floors. And they'd be entering from the same direction, so crossfire is not a problem. To search quickly... No, because he told the other guy to stay. To prevent escape, probably. That's it. Chopin must have wanted to split up so that they could cut off possible routes of escape. Perhaps I can shed some light on the late officer's actions. With more speculation. With some helpful theorizing. Capped off with hard evidence. Officer Chopin explicitly told his partner to stay behind, and the only reason he'd do that is if he thought it'd help him let them catch an escaping suspect. Why would he think a suspect was escaping if he heard a noise upstairs? He wouldn't. He'd only think a suspect was escaping if the noise he heard was... Oh, the fire escape. Oh, it's the dumpster! Because there was a loud slam, right? Immediately below, street ladder missing. Very heavy, loud. A noise that came from the alley! What kind of noise would that be? A noise like the one I was treated to when Detective London clumsily shut the dumpster out there. Hey now, it left my ears ringing too, you know? What are you even talking about? I'm talking about an exit plan. In other words, how the real culprit managed to flee the scene. How does a dumpster lid relate to some imaginary suspect's great escape? 1963, 172 minutes. I'm glad Sarah has that locked. The only way to get from the third floor to the street without going past the two cops clearing the building would be by going down the fire escape and into the alley. The Great Escape is a movie. So she had the date that it was released and the runtime, like, just locked in her brain immediately. Because she's a movies robot. A fire escape that's broken. So no one could climb up it, but anyone could jump from it and onto the dumpster below. Oh, yeah. I can kind of see it. That must be a dead pixel you're seeing, Your Honor. Were there boot prints up on top of the dumpster, a dent in the lid? Well, that's... No, of course not. So there's no proof, no reason at all to think that anyone jumped down onto it. And no reason for us to entertain this train of thought. Per ghost stones, yeah. Damn it, that's... I got nothing. Even if there had been damage to the dumpster, I could never prove it was caused by a fleeing culprit. Well, it had been moved. I'm curious to know why it had been moved. I still want to know what that's all about. Adonai, I'm thinking. I know, but might this not possibly be the time for you to stop thinking and instead flip the go board like you told me to do before? You're horribly misquoting me. But Emma says there's no proof that anyone fled the crime scene. But if there was proof of that, what would it look like? Proof that someone was in the room when the police first arrived and not there when the police got to the third floor. The open window? If I have that as evidence? Do I have the open window as evidence? Dumpster, front door, it has needles, red ink, Osuke sword, sound system, autopsy. Windows! There it is. They would have had to take the fire escape if Rogers never saw them, and they couldn't have taken the fire escape without first opening the window. There it is! I'm locked in. I'm locked into her brainwaves. I know what's going on. I'm following the logic. I'm doing it. It's been bothering me since yesterday. I was sure those windows were closed when I left, but they must have been open ever since the scene was secured. I can untrimp. I can straighten my spine out. And I can't testify to that. The one thing I know, one time I know the truth and I want to get it out, But I can't admit it without screwing myself over. Adonai, any luck? Water. I've been drinking my beverage. Pardon the interruption, Your Honor. I have no objections at this time. Then the witness may continue? Please do. But rewind a bit first if you could, since we got off topic. I'll drink some more beverage. And don't spare any detail. Tell the court exactly what you saw. What bev you drinking? I have a Dr. Pepper. It is delicious. Tell the court exactly what you saw, felt, and heard that night. Of course, the witness is a trained officer of the city's prestigious police force. They would gladly recount every minutiae for us. Line by line. Like, every detail? Especially the irrelevant ones! Sir, yes, sir. I did get it a little in my head just now. Better listen through his whole testimony at least once before I start looking for holes. I need her so bad. Quiet night, my partner heard gunshots. When we headed for the nearest Orca hotspot and arrived to find the building dead quiet. Door was locked. I checked the alley, but didn't see another way in. Well, it wasn't dead quiet because the sound system was blaring. So Chopin shot off the lock through the handle when we entered. Followed some kind of loud music up the stairs. Okay, so he does mention it. Then there was a slam, and my partner bolted upstairs. About a minute later, I heard a thud from upstairs and came running to find the defendant standing over my partner's dead body. Something stand out to you, Adonai? Yeah, my ears picked up a bit. The saying is perked up, is it not? What? Let me focus. Sound system. Fire escape. Front door. Quiet night, my partner heard gunshots. Yeah. We headed for the nearest known Orca hotspot, arrived to find the building dead quiet. Well, that's just not true, because of the sound system. Door was locked, checked the alley, didn't see another way in. Yes. This music fucks, yeah. So Chopin shot off the lock through the door and we entered. Yep. That tracks. Followed some kind of loud music up the stairs, then there was a slam and my partner bolted upstairs. About a minute later, I heard a thud from upstairs and came running to find the defendant standing over my partner's dead body. Yeah. Sounds like quite the sensory overload hearing it described in such detail. Yeah, it could have been very overwhelming. But the five senses are still bound by logic. And he's claiming something that contradicts the crime scene as we know it. Okay. Heard gunshots. Nearest known Orca hotspot, right in front of the building, dead quiet, yeah. I'm gonna go with the sound system there. I think that's all I got. How could you how could you have arrived to find the place dead quiet when there was a sound system blaring on the top floor? The witness must not have heard the sound system. This is a noisy city, even the lower wards, But he did hear the music. He described it in his testimony just now. So the building was dead quiet when you were outside, but you could hear music from the first floor? Well, yeah, I heard the music pretty much as soon as we stepped inside. Oh, that proves the window was not open. That proves the window was not open. Because he only heard the music once he was inside. So the window was not open until he entered. Until, like, it had to have been closed. Otherwise, they would have heard the music. That's what she was proving. Only after you stepped inside? Yeah, sturdy door, I guess. Your Honor, the witness has established that the front door was very secure and tightly locked. There's nothing strange about it blocking out some amount of sound. But it blocked out, like, all the sound. Once the door was open, the music was booming. The scene of the crime was a known Blue Blood property, yes? A safe house apartment complex of sorts, as I understand it. They must have made a number of modifications to the premises. That front door certainly looked like a newish addition. Maybe they redid the windows, too. I don't get it. I don't mind stating it plainly, Your Honor. That building has been thoroughly soundproofed. That building has been thoroughly soundproofed, Your Honor. You think the building was soundproofed? I know it was. I experienced it myself, stepping out of the lower wards and into its dingy nightclub vibe. That would explain what the witness experienced, wouldn't it? Perhaps, but that wouldn't explain the building being dead quiet when they arrived. Not unless the window next to the sound system was closed. Showed my hand a bit there. She knows what I'm gunning for. Counselor, asking the court to accept that the building happened to be soundproofed is not the flawless argument you're making it out to be. The window in question opens to the alley. Rogers could have easily missed the noise coming out of it. Unless he fucking checked the alley. Even though he already testified that he checked the alley before his partner shot the door open. He might have merely neglected to mention that he heard music at the time. Huh? Music in the alley? I would have noticed that kind of thing. Right? Fast on the uptake, this one. I'm looking at this arcs from every angle I can, rotating cubes in my mind as fast as my programming will allow. And I'm still seeing a crime scene where the windows are open. What am I doing wrong? There's a trick to it. Try focusing on just a single cube first. Once you've got it at one spinning consistently. Yes, Your Honor, the windows were found open. It's a contradiction. The windows were closed when the officers arrived, but open by the time the Rogers got to the third floor. That means that someone must have opened them. Someone not currently on trial, Your Honor. You should stretch before attempting mental gymnastics that intense, Counselor. You claim that the windows were originally closed, and only opened the last moment as some mystery individual fled down into the alley. But we know Creek was standing in front of those windows when he was shot, and we can see where his blood landed, on the sides of the windows that face into the room when open. It was me, sorry. No, Teeps, it's cool if you did it. That means I can get my defendant off, like, scot-free. That's actually a positive. If, as you claim, the windows were closed when he was shot, then his blood somehow ended up on the wrong side of the glass. Your theory is flawed. A far-flung fantasy with nothing other than Officer Rogers' poor hearing to support it. All the actual evidence shows that at the time of the murders, the windows were exactly as we found them, flung open. Her logic isn't faulty, and I can't overturn it with any given piece of evidence. But I can point out the flaw in how she's presented her evidence. Thank you for the advice about taking full advantage of arcs, by the way. But trust me, there are some things that are best understood by visiting the crime scene in person. What? Helps keep you from getting flipped around. Blood across the windows. Yeah, because these open in a weird way, right? No, not profiles. Windows. Opens the alley post. Respective bag shelf. Fingers on the handles match Creek and the rest of his pod. Oh, there's no blood on the fire escape, but we didn't get to check that. This is a test of your brain. I'm pretty sure that it's just like they open in a specific way. I'm gonna go with the window spatter. Apologies, Your Honor. I'm just confused. Why is Miss Rockford talking about those windows As if they swing open. Yeah, exactly. They slide open. They don't swing open. What are you talking about? Those windows don't swing into the room. They're pulled to the side. They... What? Didn't you see the fingerprints they found on the handles? One look at that should tell you which side of the glass faces indoors. Emma's stupid moment. I know, I was doubting myself for picking that because I was like, surely she didn't fuck this up. Like, that would be crazy dumb as hell. That would be crazy dumb. Funny. Wasn't that in the arcs? Oh, this... I guess she also didn't physically visit the crime scene. She just checked the arcs. Oh, this is some very chic interior design I'm seeing. Very wabi-sabi. So if the windows only slide parallel to the walls, it wouldn't matter whether they were open or shut when Creek was shot. That's the problem with being smart. No one expects you to be stupid. Yeah, the thing is, it's like being a dumbass and a smartass are not mutually exclusive. The blood would always end up on the same side. Hey! I said I finally got the windows lined up right in the arcs. You didn't say that. At least not aloud. Thank you for always listening, Sarah. But I said it just now, so whatever. What do you mean lined up? The blood spatter! There we go, yeah. So she, like, just moved the virtual windows in the arcs so that it provided a full blood spatter. Emma also barely goes into crime scenes as shown in episode... Right, because she goes to the crime scene in episode 1 and people are just like, what the fuck is she doing here? Yes, thank you, Your Honor. That is so inappropriate for an adjutant to do. But it's gotten us all on the same page. Yeah, yeah, this adjutant just, like, fucked with evidence just now. We can all reasonably conclude that the windows were closed when Creek was shot at the very least. Also, like, it's an exploding round, sure. But the blood would not spray out wide enough to, like, be that completely covering, like, the windows like that. If they were open. That would be insane. That's like he swallowed a grenade. Yes. The one they were not next opened is something you'll fight over, I'm sure. Now, if the ARC's data could just tell me whether the windows are actually soundproof, I doubt the ARC could simulate that accurately for you, Your Honor. But if we re-examine the scene for that specifically, it should be simple enough to waste the court's time. Forgive me for repeating myself, Your Honor, but even if we prove conclusively that the windows were soundproof, the defense's argument still hinges entirely on the omission of one detail in the witness's testimony. Putting it another way, just because he didn't hear the music, that doesn't mean he couldn't hear the music because the soundproof windows were closed. The absence of evidence is not evidence of absence, etc., so on and so forth. The devil's proof! Yes, and you actually used it right this time. I did my reading. She's effectively conceded that the windows were soundproof, but she's also shifted tactics in a formation I don't recognize. That's to be expected. I'm no general. But I don't need Makoto here to tell me that war is deception. So how about a little misdirection? Listen up, Sarah. The important thing about the devil's proof is that it's always on our side. The side of underdogs, lovers, and dreamers the world around. The side of the defense, innocent until proven guilty. That's what makes the devil so infuriating for the prosecution. The people make a fair point, Your Honor. There really isn't any hard evidence for my fleeing suspect theory at the moment. But the people haven't disproven it either, have they? I forget the exact details, Your Honor, but all we need is a shadow of a doubt, right? Now I may not be some big city slicking defense attorney, but I gotta say, innocent until proven guilty is still the rules, right? Like that's still how this shit works, yeah? to overturn 5 dead bodies, the testimonies of 3 cops, and a room soaked to the floorboards in forensic evidence? Yeah. Fenu. What is that? Have you lost your mind? Are you trying to piss off everyone here? Yes. Come on, you don't hate my theory that much, do you? I'm warming up to it. Then I'll stick to the facts for now. At the time Rogers and Chopin arrived, the front door was locked. The music was still playing at the scene of the crime, even if Rogers didn't notice it until stepping inside. And the moment Creek was shot, at least, we can be certain that the soundproof windows behind him were closed. Yes, those are the facts. Why are you restating them? Because there's something that's been bothering me. If we accept these as the facts, one part of the Honorable Officer Rogers' testimony makes no sense. Heard gunshot. Oh, right! He couldn't have heard the fucking gunshots if the windows were closed. How could these 2 officers have set off in response to the sound of gunshots if the room was deafened at the time the gun was fired? Now you go there? Oh, crap, yeah. Wait, excuse me? What are you talking about? It's the very first thing you told us, officer. Your partner heard gunshots. But how is that possible? But he said it. He said it. Even on the radio, he called it in. True enough, I can see it right here in the police network's database. 9:45 p.m. Officer Tariq Chopin reports shots fired. So he did, and since we can't ask him to testify, we'll just have to take him at his word. But just to clarify, Officer Rogers, are you saying you never heard any gunshots yourself? Well, I didn't have my head out the window like him, so... That's what you're trained to do, isn't it? Report anything you see or hear across the network? Well, one report is usually sufficient. But confirmation is always ideal, right? Yes or no, Officer Rogers? I never heard any gunshots. Hang on, are you really... So you never heard a peep, but your partner... He somehow manages to waltz you both over to exactly where 4 vicious murders had been committed. Before anyone else got there. I just drove where he pointed, so... She is trying to pin the 4 murders on Officer Chopin, who is the son of 2 city councilors and is currently being hailed as a martyr hero. Holy crap. She's fucking going for it. Counselor, you need to be very careful here. Thank you for your concern, Miss Rockford. But don't forget, I hate losing. Pardon? I said, but don't forget to direct your comments to the bench. You bring that up now? Every cop in the room already thinks I'm a mob lawyer at this point. Compared to that, mocking the memory of the deceased is small time. I feel like you're gonna say something shocking here. And I should stop you. But I can't really stop you before you say it. So... I'm just confused, is all, Your Honor. How could Officer Chopin have possibly arrived at the scene of the crime when he couldn't have heard any gunshots? Unless he was asked to come there directly. Okay, so she's not accusing him of murdering the people. She is accusing him of being on the on the payroll of the mob. Okay. She's not like, oh, well, he killed him, but he killed them. But she is like, yeah, he was summoned there by the mob. Oh, like he got an Evite? Exactly. Officer Chopin answered a distress call from the Blue Bloods. Ton molte. Tell me, these are usual tactics? turning the entire city against her for no discernible reason? No. Well, the first time we met, she did technically... Your Honor, the defense is completely out of line. The galler is pretty poorly behaved, too. You're gonna rein this in, or should I? Allow me. Tariq Chopin was an upstanding officer with no marks on his record. You say he was some kind of blue blood pawn, but he had to break into their building in order to enter. And you have the gall to claim he answered a distress call when there's no panic button, no phone records to suggest one was ever sent. True. True? That's all you have to say after posthumously accusing the son of 2 city councilmen of being corrupted by... Did you just put the entire B-movie in my chat? You can't do that. Everybody's gonna pay attention to the B-movie instead of my stream. I can't hold up to that. A lady fucks a bee in that movie. By blue blood pocket change? It's a fair point. Chopin was the son of 2 city councilmen and by all accounts a dedicated police officer. You like jazz? He wouldn't work with the Blue Bloods without an unusually strong motive. The kind of thing would make that kind of thing would make the headlines. What are you... Time to flex your media literacy. Choose and present the article that shows a motive for Chopin to work with the Blue Bloods. Or you can reread any articles you've collected this episode. You already read them from front to back. Yes, yes, I did, but that was days ago. So let me reread these. Okay, so serial bombings, targeting state data feds involved in hunt, political convention, heightened security, city contract for Mercs, helium fuel. Yeah, who cares? Ballot measures, renovating Atlas pillars. There was a ballot measure, like the red ink on there was a ballot measure thing. So let me check that one first. He is the son of 2 city councilors. Cost analysis on public schooling. Atlas filler, okay. Atlas, House, all the Republican transit and elevators, reducing unemployment. Argued against the architectural reality. His last name is Chopin. That is true. Well, that's because he's, actually, which one of these is headed by one of the Chopins? Because I know one of them is. Here we go. Yeah, Atlas Pillar Rejuvenation Projects. And that one was in the red ink. Both, yeah. Convention... This is bringing in mercenaries, which I don't think is relevant, but yeah, I think it's the ballot measures, probably. Because not only was the ballot measures the red ink documents that's obscuring the arcs, but arcs, yeah. But both of his dads are behind one of these. Officer Chopin would never compromise his well-documented morals for anything less than an earth-shaking opportunity. Yes, counselor, but his family is very well off. What could this earth-shaking opportunity possibly have been? How about a donation to his parents? What? Sidebar, for a moment. What? How are you all thinking about voting? Oh, don't get me started. I'm a political junkie. What are you? Sorry, on the ballot measures specifically. Am I the only one who sweats over this stuff? I already decided how I was going to vote on all of these. Maybe it's old-fashioned, but I was hoping to hear some diverse, nuanced opinions on Proposition 492. Wait, but that's the funding of Atlas Pillar Rejuvenation Projects. I think it's a nice idea. Bringing prosperity to the lower wards, literal stability to everyone above them, and of course, the mother of all paydays to anyone lucky enough to own the land it'll require. Wait a minute, you mean... you... Am I the only one who reads the news anymore? Wasn't counting on this being rhetorical, but... Who on the city council is sponsoring Proposition 492? Chopin's parents? One last question. Less rhetorical this time. This crime took place in a known blue blood property. So why was this found here? Here we go, red ink. It's time. highly confidential Redding documents were found underneath Chopin's corpse. They're almost entirely illegible by now, but you can still rake out a reference to P492 right here. That struck me as odd. Reinforcing the canopy. A state construction project that massive in the lower wards would mean even the police can't keep a crime scene secure down there unless they're willing to play ball with the Blues. They'd have to get past the Blue Bloods. Or through them with open arms and firm handshakes. Just what the hell are you trying to say? Counselor Morgan, if you... Sorry, wasn't sure actually to spell it out, but it certainly looks like Patrol Officer Tariq Chopin was working with the Blue Blood Mafia to defraud the city. Uh-oh. Yeah, there it is. Behemoth's wrath, outrage. Gekido. She said it. She said that? What did you just say? Are you trying to piss off every cop and every politician in the city? Sorry, I'll gladly retract my statement. That is, as soon as any cop or politician or prosecutor can explain to the court how Tariq Chopin was able to arrive at the crime scene that night when we all know damn well he never heard any gunshots. It is a bit of a pickle. What you got for us, witness? What? I don't know. He had good ears or something. Or good intuition or whatever. Rage bait is successful. Fucking rage baits the entire city all at once. Your Honor, the simplest explanation that Officer Chopin was tipped off by a CI that he neglected to inform his partner about. Hey, Chopin wasn't a patrol officer with secret criminal informants that he'd hide from his own partner? That sounds horribly corrupt. And you called my comments inflammatory? And now she's dragging Rockford in here. She's like, I'm in the mud, come wrestle. Let's do this. Corrupt? You've got brass, alright. That's real rich coming from a mob lawyer defending the Hound of Icaria. And it's thrown out. And we threw out the whole case. There it is. The case is thrown out. Easy shit. No fucking problem. The jury heard that shit. Fucking got him. There it is. Case is thrown out. Jury heard that. Big uh-oh. Your Honor, the witness's last statement was a regrettable slip of the tongue. Frankly, his entire testimony has been less than ideal, and so I'd already snipped the jury's feed, but the crowd... Seriously? He's the Hound? But isn't the Hound that... cop killing animals? Knew that whole house stank like shit. Watch what you say about a man's family, you. Or what, you'll stab us in the back, too? Sosuke. Please calm down. And shut up. Bad apple, hang the whole house with him. Your Honor, these outbursts from the gallery are not ideal, but we need to focus on preventing... It's not enough you butchered him like that. Animals. You gotta pay this lawyer to spit on his grave, too? At least the Blue Bloods know their place. How dare you, while you pigs were colluding with Blue Bloods to rip off everyone in the lower wards. Better a Blue Blood than the piss running through your veins. Sarah, hold him. Pardon? Stop him from doing anything stupid now. Okay, it was fun, but now you've ruined it. You're all done. This court is now in recess. Bailiffs, clear the room. It's not enough. No, I'm not done talking. I want to speak. Tell him, Rogers. This heat. Burn the house. Tension like a haze in the air. Rip him out by the roots. And on the back of my neck. Every last one. Should have taken you out when I had the chance, you... A bead of sweat and something that feels like... Oh, fuck, he's got a gun finger! Get him! Die, you son of a bitch! Behind us! Get down! What am I reaching for? I don't even have my gun. Loud. Damn, good shot, London. Fuck. Now who's a cop-killing son of a bitch? Hey, hey, are you okay? Are you hit? Sosuke, I'm not injured. The danger's gone. The heat of the moment replaced by the chill of a cold sweat on my lower back. But why did you push me down? What do you mean, why? Why did I take my time turning back to trace the bullet's trajectory. Vaguely, I'm aware of stomping feet as the crowd rushes to the exits, but the sound is far away. Reflexes. Sorry. You right there, ma'am? I'm fine, Detective. Thank you. For a moment, I lock eyes with Detective Kasim London. In that instant, I recognize a nameless flickering across his face. Cold and sharp like frostbitten furs. Nameless. We don't need a word for it because we only ever see it once. At the very end. Okay. I've taken 60 seconds to yell into a couch pillow, so maybe now one of you could tell me what the hell happened out there? How did that man get into the courtroom? The building? And with a weapon like whatever the hell that was. It was a finger gun, ma'am. It was his own arm, Madame Barrows. Modded illegally at some literal chop shop. Fully prosthetic, but fairly low tech. Uses a simple air intake system and projectiles made of enamel. Enamel as in teeth? What on earth do these people... Doesn't trigger any metal detectors, looks organic from the outside, but if you're aiming at flesh, it gets the job done. And are metal detectors all that stand between a crazed gunman and the law of the land? No, Your Honor, we're looking into it now. Well, we already found some discrepancies in the personnel files of the courthouse security team members. He probably got his hands on a key card, lost, bought, or stolen, and had it modified to get him in the building. Would that work? Only needs to work once. This time, it did. Doubt he expected to leave alive, so... You ask me, we're lucky he's stuck with something more directed instead of an explosive. This is a nightmare. What am I supposed to do now? The jury must be horrified. I don't know how we could proceed. As I recall, the adjutant cut their feet at the moment Officer Rogers mentioned the Hound of Icaria. So they didn't actually see the shooting. And by the way, how does a patrol officer know that my client is the lead suspect in that case? Would anyone like to explain that to me? Well, you'd have to ask organized crimes. But the mood around Rogers has been celebratory. I'd imagine there were plenty of cops eager to describe in detail what he'd achieved by catching Sosuke red-handed. Allegedly. There's no presumption of innocence in station locker rooms and cop bars, counselor. So the OC department buys Rogers a round of drinks. And 24 hours later, I've got a shooter in my courtroom. Who was he? The shooter's been ID'd as Bowen Bresson, low-level muscle in the Blue Blood Mafia. Priors for possession, dealing, assault. Attempting to carry out an assassination in a courtroom full of cops is quite the step up. Any communication, Creeks pod? Meh, older generation, different part of town. Okay, so he's with the old bloods, I guess. Not exactly thick as thieves. So, trying to execute Sosuke wasn't an act of revenge. He was given orders. Fear the old blood. I mean, that's what the young bloods are saying. And vice versa. Yes, it's very interesting, but it's a job for the police to handle. By God, fear it, Lords. Counselor Morgan, I assume you'll be filing for a mistrial. About that. I feel it's in my client's best interest for the trial to continue. What? A blue-blood gunman just tried to shoot him. But the jury didn't see that. All they know right now is that they've been given a long lunch. You too? The goal, Your Honor, as I've always understood it, is for a defense attorney to do what's best for their client. Right now, clearly, the Blue Blood Mafia is convinced my client killed 4 of their men. And every cop in the city thinks he killed Officer Chopin. If he walks on a mistrial, he won't be able to walk down the street without getting shanked. Sosuke Karia doesn't need a mistrial, he needs a media blackout. I really hate that term. She's right, Your Honor. If the story spreads that the Blue Bloods tried to assassinate Sosuke, every juror in the city will assume he's guilty. We won't be able to find anyone over the age of 10 who hasn't heard of him, let alone put together 12 unbiased peers to judge him. Even if that's true, and even if it's possible, what you're asking for is... Detective, is the building still in lockdown? Standard procedure says to keep it that way for another half hour. We would have to... The stands were full of police officers, and any one of them could... Ambulance chasers will pay prime for a story this rich. Someone's gotta break rank. We don't need the blackout to last forever. Just need it to be intimidating enough that the story doesn't leak until the trial's over. Which will be when, exactly? We could finish tomorrow. There aren't that many witnesses left on the docket. Finished. Tomorrow? Yes, Your Honor. Ugh. Fine. Yes, we'll have a blackout. Big, scary old blackout, like we're the shadowy masters of the universe. Happy? Perfectly. Thank you, Your Honor. Detective, follow me. You'll need my authorization to activate the building's blanket protocols. Right behind you, ma'am. Surprised to be arguing for the same thing as you for once. Thanks for not gagging from the effort. Any other defense attorney in the city would have taken the mistrial. Dumped the hat of Ikari on some other idiot's doorstep and cashed their check. Some other idiot, huh? Or is it that you can't dump him? You under house arrest already? I haven't felt threatened by them. That could change fast if you fail them. House Ikari are high society, haven't you heard? And I'm beneath their notice. I don't think they'd bother to axe me just for underperforming. Sounds like exactly the kind of thing that high society types would do. Going this far for your client, though, you know me. Defender of the weak, champion of the downtrodden. I'd go through a lot more than this to keep my face out of the papers. Hopefully when the story does eventually leak, the focus should be entirely on Sosuke. But if this means people start recognizing me, remembering me, Bo and Bresson will be glad London did him in one. I'd twist the knife slow as a second hand if he's... You okay? Compared to you, I guess not. I've never seen anyone get shot before. Oh. Right. Sorry. No, I'm sorry. That was... Maybe I'm feeling jealous. I spend all this time poring over crime scenes and diagrams, trying to get inside the head of Heartbreak of all people, and maybe get into my head that I'm some kind of unfeeling badass. Just to freeze up like a deer at the sight of actual violence. I'll need to get over that. Do you? Do you need to get over it? I have a responsibility. A prosecutor isn't a hangman, Emma. No. If the hangman does their job right, the neck snaps and the subject's dead before the pain ever reaches their brain. If I do my job right, Sosuke Karia spends the rest of his life drooling on himself while Megs haggle over the property rights to his gray matter. If you feel that bad about it, you could always recommend a lesser sentence. That's just the thing. I've never felt that bad about it at all. Runs in the family. The way she whispered it in that half-stuttering sigh, I'm not sure she even heard it herself. Interesting. We got a long line of prosecutors here, like the Edgeworths? Or the Von Karmas, rather. State Building, floor 48. Alright, that should free up your phone from the blanket. Thank you, Detective London. You're, welcome, Counselor Morgan? Something I said. You didn't say anything yesterday about what the Hound of Icaria really is. Come on, there's a lot of code names to remember. Would you believe me if I said I didn't put two and two together? Maybe I would if I hadn't seen you act that fast back in the courtroom. That was a lucky shot. From across the room with the crowd moving around him. Yeah, real lucky. I know, I'm agreeing with you. Though it would be a lot less lucky if you were, say, already watching him. Did you know? No, but I'm flattered you think I'm brave enough to stick around for a shooting that I knew would happen. But you recognized him. Tickled a spot in the back of my brain, even in disguise. Helped that the guy was fidgeting around all day. Bresson had been in the courtroom all day? How long had he waited for to take his shot? Did you get a good look at him? I did not. You shot him very fast. Eyes bloodshot to hell and back, nosebleed, flushed extremities. He was high as a drone. Probably metahexaphenolin, considering how all the Blue Bloods have done pushing it. Nirvana? The party drug that college kids are huffing? Been a long time since I was in college. Guess it could be good for a party, in small doses. I'm hypothesizing here. Don't take this out of context. Sure. But at higher doses? A couple of months ago, I saw this guy stumbling around one of the open markets. Eyes dilated and mouth moving a block a minute. He knocked over some bicycles, so I cuffed him to the rack, hoping he sobered up within the hour and I could move on. I took a phone call, and when I looked back, he was trying to chew through the chain. He broke 4 teeth. And he had started biting his arm by the time I knocked him out. Ew. But anecdotes are cheap, and one bad trip will hardly slow the ball now that's rolling. You believe the hype? Think they're gonna legalize it? Within the next 2 quarters, if you ask me. What'll happen to the Blue Bloods' monopoly? Up in smoke. Pharma megs and dispensaries of the world will step in and reap the rewards. And the Blue Bloods will have to slink off and cook up some other haze to push. The gray tide rolls on. The Blue Bloods have legitimate income sources, right? Like scientists? Yep. Some are even pretty profitable, like their host clubs and pink rooms. So if the Blue Bloods can run those businesses just as fine, why can't they stay in control of Nirvana once it's legalized? There's competition and name recognition and locale and real estate and... basically, they can't afford it. The buy-in's too steep and everyone past the door likes it that way. Legal drugs are a whole other realm of profitable. Folks like the Icaria do not want to share. Gee, not even on special occasions? Well, like I told you, there was that meeting last year, but their play date fell apart. Hey, what did you say back in the court about Prop 492? You really buy that? Tariq Chopin working with the Blue Bloods? It's quite the unlikely pairing, I'll admit, but it might explain why it ended the way it did. So, what was the verdict? The verdict is only handed down after the jury's finished deliberating. That may take... The show must go on. And the shooter? Getting introduced to the accommodations down at the morgue right about now. He was some blue blood muscle named Bresson. Ringing a bell? As I've said, all these blue bloods are He tried to shoot you, Sosuke, and I was standing very close to you when it happened. I'd like a little more detail than that. I've never met him. Never heard of him. That's the truth. But the Bresson family is known to be enforcers for blue blood leadership. So it's the old guard who wants you dead. Does that make the young bloods an enemy of an enemy? Didn't you tell me Creek was a young blood? Considering what I'm on trial for, I doubt they're fond of me either. God damn it, Sosuke, who doesn't hate your ass? I need to try harder to disregard the nonsense that comes out of that adjutant's mouth. Might be starting to sink in. Sosuke, you were captured when you could have been ignored. You were tortured when you could have been ransomed. And now these people are trying to kill you in one of the most secure buildings in the city. What are they after? Why are you at the top of the Blue Blood shit list? Is it because of last year's meeting? Rennigan, the Hound. What the fuck was last year's meeting about? Rennigan, was that the... Because he's the Hound is ridiculous. Unless it isn't... I don't feel like he's... If it was about him being the Hound, then they would have just killed him, right? Or ransomed him. They were torturing him, trying to get information out of him. What's that about? I don't even remember what Rennigan is. What the fuck is Rennigan? I forget. Here it is. Okay, so this is just the Rennigan Pharmaceuticals. This is the Blue Bloods Pharmaceuticals operation, I believe. Last year's meeting... Is it? Yeah, because he didn't assassinate anybody, I don't think. Is it something the Hound did? Did you help one of the old guard retire early last week? That particular messenger communicates only with the highest class of clientele. Corporate rivals and the rest of the nobility? Yes, the Hound of Yukari is known in the lower wards, but he isn't truly feared there. And he hasn't taken the life of any blue blood, noteworthy or otherwise, in over a year. So, not since you were reassigned to guard duty. Is it because of what happened a year ago? How do you know about what happened a year ago? That's a great question, Sarah. I also don't remember. A meeting between the old guard and the house, apparently. You were going to work out a deal for the Ikarian network to distribute a blue blood product. Why would we want the basement-cooked swill the blue blood sold in our storefronts, our pharmacies? You wouldn't. Not until after Nirvana is legalized. 6 years ago. I remembered that shit better. Yes, I figured some stuff out. Stop pouting. There was a meeting last year, yes. A private meeting that was to be kept strictly confidential. The IFG met with the old guard to discuss a deal. It fell apart. Voices were raised, weapons drawn. I was in the shadows, and I stepped in front of a blade for Makoto. The house elders were perturbed afterwards. They feared for Makoto's safety, and perhaps felt they had grown overconfident. The Hound is a useful tool, but not indispensable, so they ordered me to guard Makoto full-time. Isn't that a great honor, guarding the heir to the headship? Of course it is. Then why do you sound like that? You get points for picking up on it, but you need to learn how to take advantage of it. So your deal fell apart, blood was drawn. I kinda assumed that was par for the course in your world. It's not unheard of. So why are the old guards still trying to kill you and Makoto a year later? I don't know! I don't know, Morgan. Because I am not an old guard. Is there someone we could talk to who is? There's always someone for a price. But if that's how it's gonna go, I'm gonna need a drink first. We're going back to the bar, baby! Here to join? What are you talking about? Sorry to disappoint, but I was here first. The net's slow as shit in this wing of the school. No one else comes here if they don't have to, so it's a quiet spot to read. Yeah, it is a detective mystery. So what? Like 5% in the books of the library are. It's not like I own the room. If you want to convene your club meetings here with all your many members, I can't exactly sue you. Especially not since you're going to be some big shot lawyer. Join your club so I won't get evicted? Isn't that like blackmail, counselor? Mutually beneficial, sure. So it's just plain old corruption. You'll do just fine out there in the adult world. Whatever. As long as you don't go around telling people I'm a member, you can put me down. We need to add our phone numbers, too? No, I don't actually care. Is something wrong? Why would you think that something's wrong? It's very unusual for you to wake up mid-transit. When you decide to nap, you fall asleep very fast and you sleep very deeply. Suspiciously so. Sometimes I'll try to wake you and could swear you're just pretending. I have no idea what you're talking about. Besides, you're the one who's been quiet. I had been bothering Sosuke, I think, pestering him about catching bullets. You were bothering Sosuke, he'd say it. Turned to the side in that bitchy pose of his. But I can't catch a bullet either. Even though I'm fast, and I can see fast. Sosuke was the one who acted while I just... Sosuke is trained for that exact kind of thing. Trained for his whole life, the way he tells it. Father built me to be strong. I should be able to... David didn't build you to be anything, Sarah. He didn't even really build you. Just watched you grow. And do you think I am still growing? Still developing? You think I could get taller? I think you shouldn't get your hopes up about that. Come on, you can bounce back faster than that. I'm sorry. I suppose I am still processing what we saw back in the courtroom. When Detective London took out that shooter. I know that Detective London has been a police officer for many years. Stands to reason he'd act decisively in circumstances where so many lives are at risk. What I'm still thinking about is the man he killed. Yeah, but there's only so much speculating we can do about his motive until... I'm not thinking about his motive. I'm thinking about how he is dead. You haven't been out and about that long. Everything's new to you, even the most ordinary stuff. Guess I forget that includes the extraordinary, too. You've seen violence like that before, then? Yes, I have. Seen people die? Yes, I have. Seen more people die than most your age? Most lawyers? Probably a safe bet. This is a private subject, isn't it? Death is always private. I'm no exception. Do people ever get used to it? I can only speak for myself. Have you gotten used to it? Every time is like the first time. I hope that everyone is like you, then. It doesn't seem like the kind of thing anyone should get used to. Sorry to disappoint you, then. There are no people like me. I'm an epic murderer. It's sick as hell. Irashai. 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 Welcome to my twisted mind. To what do I owe the pleasure of hosting my two favorite girls? One Sarah, who's the other? Figment of my imagination, apparently. You want something to drink? What do you recommend? I just got in this case of beautiful, tawny, deep reds from volcanic soil across the sea. Savory and full with notes of cherry and oak. Sounds delicious! You just described a tree. Down to the dirt. Well, I would very much like to try it. Sorry, you're underage. She's an android. A very realistic one. What do you say to customers who walk in and see you're drinking at the counter? Eat a shy? 2 waters coming right up. Wait, back up. Your client is the Hound of Icaria. And I was the last person to find out what that actually means. Then it should be easy enough to tell whether he did the deed or not. The Hound of Icaria, the Hound always leaves a calling card. So I hear. Is that literal? Stark white business card laid neatly on the ground with the house's insignia. I don't understand why the house would go to such lengths to let the victims know who attacked them. These neo-ability types, their whole lives are galas and boardrooms and cocktail parties and wine tastings. Torture. Where every sentence has a front and a back side to it, and every glance is a whole unspoken clause. To them, an unambiguous act of violence is an exclamation point that they can't misconstrue. And the Icaria aren't exactly the top of the neo-ability pecking order. Reminding the others that they still got their fangs is a viable strategy. They know they've got outclassed in terms of how many mountains of gold they have. That doesn't explain why a supposedly great assassin has gotten made on more than one occasion. Well, he's probably just doing his job there. If all he needed was to get away with murder, he'd be a poisoner or a sniper. All the major houses love to use body doubles. If he kills a target behind closed doors, their house can just bring out a spare. Or hell, claim the entire thing never happened. But if the Hound kills where a house's rivals can see, the damage sticks. You know a lot about the neo-ability, don't you, boss? Are you considered part of the neo-aristocracy? Do I look like I've got that kind of sway? I don't run a bar in Midtown as a hobby, kid. Wouldn't know it looking at how profitable your wine section is. It'll catch on. The Hound was a nasty surprise, but the big reveal isn't making anything click for me. A blue blood assassin trying to mist him mid-trial? I don't get it either, but the blue bloods aren't as rational as they used to be. Used to be? I traded with them a good deal when I was younger. They were richer. Traded what? Stock tips. Oh. This was before the Icaria cut them down? I was a young man hungry to establish myself, and the Blue Bloods were the biggest game in town. The Rust weren't even a twinkle in some psycho punk's eye back then, and the Icaria cartel were just that. Drug smugglers and dope runners. Blue Bloods used them as couriers. A reversal of fortune. Could be their names on opera houses and hospitals all across the city today if... If what? If the Icaria hadn't killed them all. But didn't they have allies? Connections? The morgues were overflowing with cerulean blood. No one wanted anything to do with them. But they were the victims. Corporate partners are risk-averse. Political alliances require you to bring something to the table. When you fall that far, that fast, the common folk assume it happened for a reason. They thought the Blue Bloods deserved it just because it happened to them? All that was left were the old-timers, the grandparents and great-uncles, all suddenly without heirs. They recruited latchkeys and orphans during the Red Decade, found family that became the first gens and then the young bloods. What about the money? You're starting to sound like a real human. Some of it, the cash, the gold, the jewels, the Icaria just stole. But the vast majority of it was held overseas, where it was safe, untouchable, and impossible to get your hands on without the right blood. Locked behind GFA. Getting butchered by the Icaria was a bad beating, but losing that money was unforgivable. The rest of the Blue Blood Mafia around the world never accept them back into the fold until they recover it. Exiled from paradise because they tempted fate with their hubris. Has a certain poetic charm to it, no? It would have to be a very sobering poem. Those are the ones you remember, aren't they? Probably why the Blue Bloods are still humming at the same old hymns, passing down the same ghost stories and urban legends. They did seem to be a surprisingly superstitious bunch, crossing their fingers over the red hood and... Hey, what's a little lord? That's another one. New spin on the oldest tales known in the book. A promised prince. Belief is exactly one kid survived the fall of the leaves, one lone heir to all the fortune the Blue Bloods lost, It's definitely Sosuke. I'm not even fucking around. If this writing, every single thing is telling me that this is Sosuke. Like, he might believe that he was part of, like, whatever family or whoever, but I believe that he was a blue blood. This is definitely Sosuke. If this exists, this is Sosuke. And the Youngbloods believe that it's Sosuke, which is why they want him so bad. Oh, it's what's his name? The kid. No, yeah, I forgot how long ago this was. But I feel like it's either Sosuke or Makoto. I feel like it's definitely Sosuke. Because they definitely wouldn't put the kid that they stole from another family in charge of the, like... Yeah, because Makoto is actually the head's, like, child. Like, his grandson. I think it's definitely Sosuke. Got spirited away overseas or out west to be raised in secret, and one day he'll come back to reclaim what's rightfully... You know, I guess you heard this one before. Is there any truth to it? Old guards certainly seem to think so. Need to think so. Probably what's keeping them alive. They can just hold on another 5 years. They'll finally find the heir they've been looking for. They can rectify decades of embarrassment and shame. Thinking like that is what makes Youngbloods start thinking, maybe the old guard doesn't care what happens to us. Obviously, it's tanks. Well, that's really unfortunate for them. What do they expect? Blood's thicker than water. The original full expression is thought to be, the blood of the covenant is thicker than the water of the womb. Thank you, Sarah. That actually suggests that camaraderie between those who fought together is stronger than simply sharing a common relative. Yeah, well, if that were actually true, then maybe people would have amputated the expression years ago. Still, this is 30 years of water, or blood covenant, if you prefer, that we're talking about. Youngbloods give their life to the Mafia. Each of them had to choose it over their own family. It's a pretty raw deal to cut them loose just because some sheltered kid, only valuable for his DNA, decided to show up after all these years. My phone died? Oh no! You think the old guard would throw away the Youngbloods if it meant reuniting with their little lord? I know it. And so do the Youngbloods. That doesn't seem to be a dynamic that incentivizes them to look very hard for this little lord. No, it incentivizes them to smother the royal bastard. If I assume my client is innocent, that means someone else killed Tariq Chopin. Someone who didn't do it in self-defense. Tariq Chopin? You mean the son of the city councilman? Adopted son. His parents are government officials. Even if they're loaded, the Mob Act can't protect all of their records. Protection of Reasonable Anonymity Act. Mob Act was supposed to go with hindering mob justice. Oh, that makes sense. Sarah, look this guy up. What do you want to know? How old was he? His age is listed as 27, but the interest has been edited a number of times. There's been a great deal of back and forth between the database contributors in the last 36 hours over the addition or removal of an asterisk. It seems his original birth certificate was lost. Oh, maybe it's maybe Tariq Chopin is the one is like the little lord. Or was. Well, that's shady as hell. Only kinda. Here it comes. If he was an orphan 27 years ago, that's pretty firmly in the red decade. A lot of paperwork was getting lost back then. That's a kind way of putting it. What would be an unkind way of putting it? The governments of the world were scrambling. I want to know about his adoption. His fathers adopted him in 2066 after 3 months of visits to Gospel Home Orphanages, a private philanthropic institution that's no longer in business. Bankrupt or bought out. Bankrupt. Damn it, if they've just gotten swallowed, the parent company might have kept their records. The adoption itself was somewhat of an event. There are multiple news articles and photos of it. Not trying to cast doubt on the realness of their connection, but they wouldn't be career politicians if they let a photo op get that good pass them by. Unless they wanted to draw attention away from who they were adopting, and... No, a child showing up quietly in a politician's life looks guilty as sin. They wouldn't let people think. This isn't useful. I can go in circles all day speculating about this. What was his education? Tariq Chopin had a law degree. Who gets a law degree and then becomes a patrol officer? The son of a politician. It's not a bad path. Your superiors know you're connected and smart and can recognize when the law is being broken. They'll keep you far away from anything real. You can coast for a year and then move into politics as a veteran of the force who's hard on crime. London did mention he was far too principled to be likable or reliable. Joining up with the police was nothing but a calculated move. That means he had a clear plan for what to do after. And it probably didn't involve defrauding the city in a real estate scheme. I can think of a few reasons why a cop could get murdered at the scene of a crime like that. But Tariq Chopin wasn't some ordinary cop. The strongest motive that comes to mind is... Wait, you really think... You think Chopin was the Little Lord? You're either the last person I'd expect to believe in fairy tales read. Can you honestly say it doesn't fit? If we, for a moment, assume that unicorns and dragons and Tsuchinokos are real... What do you mean? Tsuchinokos are very well documented. I can show you... Tsuchinoko real. Then yeah, it's possible that Chopin was the Little Lord. And if any young blood knew it, they'd want him dead. To prevent the old guard from abandoning them. 3 thoughts come to mind. 1, this is all guesswork on your part. Even the most zealous young blood wouldn't off a guy just because he happened to be about 30 years old and adopted. They would have had to have seen something that at least suggested it. 2, as I recall, the only young blood you know of is this Creek guy. Tsuchinoko realer than real, motherfucker. I believe in fat alcoholic snake that can double jump. And Creek was dead before Chopin ever entered the building. Clears his name pretty handily. The only young blood I know. 3, I can think of at least one other group that killed to prevent the Little Lord from reclaiming his throne. House Ikaria. And who better to cut him down than their most loyal rook? And that would neatly explain why the old guard would be pissed enough to try and kill Sosuke in a courtroom. Unfortunately. Stay positive. Just because the old guard thinks Sosuke killed their precious heir doesn't mean he actually did. Yeah. Hey, Sarah, get some footage of me making this next one. From over there in the corner. Boss? We'll shoot a promo. I just found this hidden gem where this guy made the best drink ever. That kind of thing. Where it's kind of cheap and fake, but like you're in on the joke and it's not pretending to be genuine. Boss, with the number of followers Kintsugi has, a video longer than 9 seconds posted this time of day? I don't want to hear that depressing shit. We'll cross-post or whatever. Does it have to be that corner? The lighting will be bad. Any corner, just making sure it's from a distance. From a distance, wouldn't it be better framed if it'll look like shaky cam found footage? It's more legit that way. My hands do not shake, but I'll try. What are you doing? Making you a drink, obviously. That's quite the treat. Why? Because we've got some heavy shit to discuss. Starts with ice. What do we do with crushed ice at Kintsugi, Sarah? Kick it under the fridge. Exactly. Rock ice or nothing when you're mixing a cocktail. That is true. I love crushed ice, but if you don't want something watered down, crushed ice is ass. Crushed ice will water down whatever you're drinking if you don't drink it fast. Hang on, you taught her that? There's a drain under there. Not in my kitchen. When the ice melts, it warps the floorboard. Apple lime, juiced. Pay no attention to the second half I'm using here, Sarah. Red likes it tart. Now you're the lawyer, and you've got a hell of a mind for all this stuff. Egg white. Toss the yolk unless it's a weekend, in which case, put it in the bowl in the fridge. But it seems to me like you're approaching the shooter from every angle but the deadly serious one. Orgeat. If a customer says they prefer simple syrup, you let me know and we won't serve them anymore. I wonder what orgeat is. I've never heard of that. You need to consider that maybe the shooter wasn't there for Sosuke. I told you, they kicked me out after only a few minutes. No one's sending an assassin after me for that. Whiskey, Black Label, or higher. Then shake the hell out of it. Word of mouth can be deadly down there in the fog. I saw her leaving the building can easily become I saw her running away. If someone wanted to get me, the courtroom filled with cops would be a pretty shitty place to choose to do it. Yeah, but it might have been the only time and place they knew you'd be. Mint for a garnish with shard, crimson for a smoky ambiance. Serve immediately. Looks good. A bitter blessing. Surely with that much lime, it's a sour blessing. No? You want me to toss it out? Thank you for the drink. But I'm nobody, Ryan. No one's coming to get me. Nobody even knows I exist. I drink the fuck out of that? What is that? What is orgeat? What is that? I'm very curious. Like, clearly it's an optional replacement for simple syrup. But, like, what is it? I hope you're right. I am. You won't know if you're wrong until it's too late. Bottoms up. You get all that, Sarah? Yes, boss. Hey, bottoms up is just an expression. You're supposed to sip it, for God. One last thing. Apparently, Sosuke's captors talked about some kind of huntsman? Sweetener? I don't know. My mom is the bartender. Well, I'll look it up. I'm curious now. Orgeat syrup. Almond. Okay, so it's sweet almond flavored syrup with rose water or orange flower water. So what? It's like he's not gonna serve someone just because they don't like the fucking the taste of almonds? Like, sure, it might be more refined, but that doesn't mean that it's like, oh, this is so they can overcharge you. Yeah, this is real fancy shit. If the Little Lord's an urban legend, Huntsman's a goddamn boogeyman. Orca's shooting the shit around burning tires trying to make the noobs afraid to go off and piss by themselves. Right, so they're bullshit. I got the same answer elsewhere, but... Oh, they're very real. Pardon? Huntsmen, not a species native to our shores, thank God, but they're real. You just said they're boogeymen. Yeah, and the fact that they exist is what makes them so damn scary. Are they some sort of assassin? Like Bresson, the shooter in the courtroom? Nothing so concrete. Huntsmen are virtual shapeshifters. You feel a chill down your spine one night on your way home from work, go to sleep, wake up at night with a man wearing your own face choking the life out of you, while he calls your mom from the locked phone across the room in your own voice. But like I said, they're all overseas in a more contested parts of the world where blue bloods are better funded. You wouldn't pay for one of them to come into our country unless you had a really good use case or a weapon that only they could take full advantage of. Well, I'll be sure to pass that on to Sosuke. Why, so Sosuke can start writing his will? I wouldn't bet against him so long as he knows what he's up against. Urban legends are missed, but boogeymen are easy to kill. How do you kill a boogeyman? Same way I'd kill anyone else. With pleasure. Oh, right. I actually needed a recommendation from you. What a kind of recommendation? A bar, I think, needs to be open tonight. Oh. What are you looking for? Well, it's, not for me, but... How much do you know about host clubs? Oh my god. What the hell is that supposed to mean? Just what I said. You can't enter the crime scene until you pass our security clearances. You've gotta be... You're a drug-pushing lowlife. Why would I need your permission to go anywhere? I take offense to that. I've never worked in pharma. Han, not the time to be a smartass. Reyes, it'll only take 30 seconds. You're serious? This is reality. The city's expecting blue bloods to keep a crime scene secure. They're the ones committing the goddamn crimes. Hey, if that's your criteria, half the police force should be disqualified. Or is excessive force not a real crime? Are battered spouses not real victims? Guess assault's only assault when it's a real person on the receiving end. Zionist is legitimate, Reyes. All the paperwork's in order and signed by our bosses. These idiots are walking around barehanded, knocking shit over and leaving trash all over the goddamn place. Should we give them badges while we're at it? Let them investigate crimes too? We already investigate crimes. You have any idea how many missing teens there are in the lower wards? No, because we find them, because we actually give a shit about the people who live down here. Oh, and I'm sure your prices are very generous. Better their parents get a bill from us than a letter of condolences from you. So sorry, man, but he looked suspicious as he was running away. Han, not helping. Reyes, let's calm down. Sorry that I'm not calm when we got actual orcas stomping all over the scene where a cop was murdered. Last I counted, there were 5 bodies upstairs. And are both your eyes broken, or do you just not recognize anyone without a badge as human? Perhaps we've come at a bad time. Nothing for it. Gotta strike while the iron's hot. The iron seems very hot in this instance, Adonai. I hope Han comes back, but she's, like, definitely the murderer. Maybe. I just kind of pegged her as an interesting character. I didn't really have her pegged as, like, the person who killed the cop. Sorry to interrupt, folks. Don't mind me. I'll just go take another look upstairs. Now you... Hey, why not? You nearly died once already today. Why not let these orcas give you the tour? Was that you giving me permission? No! You and London should both be at a goddamn hospital or whatever, getting debriefed. She doesn't need your permission. She has mine. Ma'am, you can go right ahead upstairs. Talk over me again and I'll break your finger. Is that ad recording just now? It sounded like a threat. You want to hear a threat? Clearly, this isn't gonna work. So, Han, why don't you head upstairs and wait for Morgan? I don't take orders from you. Who do you take orders from? Want me to give him a call? Let him know you're going around kicking hornets' nests and scratching your head over why everyone's getting stung? Whatever. You think you could just walk away after the shit you said? Turn around and take a walk, sunshine. London, if you think for even one... I'm not kidding, Farah. Take a walk. Forget it. You can all go to hell for all I care. Oh, No, not you. For God's sake. Well, I appreciate that she was at least nice to Sarah. Sarah was like, what? You want me to go to hell? That's so mean. And she's like, no, not you, Sarah. You're literally fine. Chill out. Sorry about the bad timing. No, that was gonna blow up no matter what. Situations like this require compromise, and Reyes is uncompromising. At least you're around to balance her out. You might be the most compromised cop I've ever met. That was not a very nice thing to say. Why fuck me? For I just got here. Real. She's like, I am so sweet and innocent, and my eyes are so big and soft, big and wet. You would say fuck me, but why? I have done nothing to upset you. And it shows that you haven't met many cops. For why? For why fuck me? I'm surprised you're still welcome around here after what happened in the courtroom. Oh, Bresson? Blue Bloods are a big organization, and Bresson was pretty firmly on the other side. Gals like Han who work in the gray areas might as well live in a different world. If you say so. I just didn't think the Mafia would allow the death of one of their own to go unanswered. Sarah, put this guy in the spin cycle. Sarah, grab this guy by the bones. Sarah, look at this guy with your big wet puppy dog eyes, and when his guard is down, just like pull his skeleton out. They sent him into a courtroom packed with police with a modded arm that only had one shot. I don't think they're surprised he didn't make it back. Will Detective Reyes be alright? She seemed angry. More so than usual. Yeah, she'll be alright. Blown up, yelling, cursing. That's nothing. Practically healthy. It's the ones who go quiet you gotta worry about. What brings you back here anyway? We're pursuing leads. Sounds serious. Anyone can go digging into Chopin after my implications earlier today? Sarah slightly disheveled his coat collar in a way that makes it annoyingly hard to fix. Just fuck it up. Just like fuck it up a little bit. But like in a way that it's like he has to tug on it in a specific way or else it'll be like slightly off. Lady Rockford will probably take it seriously, but only cross it off the list. But other than her, I think you mostly just pissed people off. Lucky for you, I was able to convince some techs to confirm your soundproof windows theory, but... Confirmed soundproof, okay. Sarah, go mischief makers on his ass. Sarah, just like wiggle him. Don't expect to be welcome at City Hall anytime soon. Morgan loves rage baiting. Look, it's easily the most effective strategy to get people to just say shit. Whatever else he's innocent of, Chopin did get here before anyone else, and no one knows how. Look, if he really did get some kind of coded message or secret text, there's no trace of it on any comms logs or his personal devices. Corrupt cops go in the pear wiggler. And it didn't come from any of the tech we've examined on site. Have you found any secret passages on the premises? Afraid not, little lady. I like that we got chips for that. Let's go, Sarah. She's getting some chips. But maybe you'll have better luck than me. Secret passages? In what world? Secret passages like one that might be, I don't know, under that really, really heavy fucking garbage can that was moved somehow, despite being very heavy, almost as if it was moved by a machinery. I don't know. Secret passage? Question mark? Saw a girl walking down the street with a Nepeta hat or hoodie or whatever on at lunch today. Fuck yes! Was that your whole story back in the courtroom? You and Reyes happened to be in the area? If you don't want to take my word for it, Reyes will tell you the same thing. Sarah, push this dumpster. I mean, she probably could. It doesn't seem like she'd want to talk to Adonai at the moment. Can you tell me exactly what you two saw when you arrived? The 10999 went out around 10:15 p.m., telling us that Chopin's heart had stopped. So we dashed across the street to an elevator. We were descending at 10:17 p.m. when Rogers reported that he was dead. At 10:21 p.m. we approached from the front of the building. Saw the door ajar, lock blown in. Then Sunshine and I started clearing the first floor. 10:999, yeah? You didn't hurry up to the third floor where the dead cop was. Like I testified, Chopin had flatlined and his own partner had confirmed it was no false alarm. We knew we couldn't do anything for him. Rogers had already apprehended the suspect, so SOP is we focus on securing the area and clearing the premises. How level-headed. So, the Officer Rogers we saw in court today really did take Sosuke down all by himself? Yep, charged in and pistol whipped him right in the head. Anyway, we shot those guys at 9:44 and Chopin set off at 9:45. Kind of a crazy response time. I mean, it is extremely good. It's an extremely, oh, maybe it might have been that Creek fucking, because we know that Tank had a biomonitor that actually said when his heart stopped. So it's entirely possible that he was alerted by that. Yeah, Creek bled out for fucking ever. But I don't know if Creek had one of those, but Tank definitely did. That you had already picked up on it? I mean, that's true, I guess. That is a way he could have been notified. I assume you found that the first floor was, in fact, clear. Yeah, all these vaults were empty. You didn't wait for Cyanus to show up with the spare keys? Surprised you didn't throw your back out kicking down doors. Sunshine helped. Besides, they weren't all locked. They weren't? Yeah, I remember that. That one right there was unlocked. Room 107. Nothing inside there either, though. Guess the Blue Bloods missed a lock on a nightly roundup or something. Cyanus has unlocked every door in the building at this point. But when I first walked down this hall and when I walked out the front door later, how did this hall look then? If you do manage to find some kind of silent alarm, I'll be impressed. If you prove that Chopin was dirty, I'll be floored. But even then, how the hell are you going to convince a jury that anyone other than Sosuke killed him? It'll be difficult without accounting for the 4 dead Blue Bloods as well. But if you take it all as one set, start seeing Positol as an internal issue, don't you think? What do you want to pitch this as the Young Bloods and Old Guard going at it? Over what? The juicy bait that Chopin literally died over. Proposition 492. But what's there to disagree about? The project would put money in everyone's pockets. My theory's correct, and Chopin was killed because the Young Bloods didn't want the Old Guard abandoning them. The Old Guard have always hedged their bets on the Little Lord returning. Does that mean the Red Egg plans to profit off of Prop 492 or a Young Blood conspiracy? Those papers were tucked inside Creek's safe before I arrived. Well, good hunting. You won't be joining us? Not this time. I gotta go pump the brakes on Sunshine before she finds a bar. Try not to piss off the Blue Bloods with any more wild accusations while I'm gone. I would never. Take care. And that goes doubly for you, Sparky. What does Sparky mean, by the way? It's a nickname. Because you're so bright. A nickname! But I guess people are always calling you ads whatever they like, huh? Sorry, should have asked first. What do you mean? I'll just call you Sarah. Oh, she was so excited about the nickname, though! Even if it was kind of derogatory. Because it was clearly because she's a robot. But it's my nickname. You gave it to me. You can't just take it back. Well, okay then, Sparky. I really wanted the music to kick back in. What the hell? Did you hate Spearmint that much? I would never want to seem ungrateful. She really did fucking hate Spearmint. Fucking nicknames you after a chewing gum. I'm probably gonna call it now because I am tired and I'm distracted and I've had a lot of fun, but my throat is starting to get a little sore. So I apologize for calling in another Of the Devil stream short, but that is just how it crumbles sometimes. This game does keep delivering. This shit is awesome. I just, for some reason, I fucking burn out pretty quick on these streams. Probably because I go hard on the voices. Just plan for them to be 2.5 hours? I mean, I don't want to plan for them to be 2.5 hours. I want to plan for it as to go for like as long as I can. You know? So I guess I won't apologize, but I will say that we're ending it now. Do you remember when I did Valhalla? I actually don't. I couldn't talk for a week. True. That will happen when I do Valhalla, which my plan is, as I reiterate, once I get a tracked model, I will be doing Valhalla. That was my plan from the very beginning of my streaming career. It's like, once I get a tracked model, I'm doing Valhalla to celebrate. But, like, yeah, that will probably, I did the whole thing in, like, 3 days. That's fucking crazy. Anyway, guys. I'll see y'all later. I hope you have an excellent night. I hope you don't work yourselves too hard at your jobs. And I hope the caffeine doesn't keep you up. Good night.